Welcome back to Tiny Little Victories. Today is episode 3. Can you believe it? Episode 3? I hope you guys are still around listening. Today we're going to be talking to Hanna Manninen in Oulu, Finland about art and art galleries. So today's episode is the New World Order of Art. And Hanna started this art gallery, I believe, during COVID. So we're going to talk to her about what's it take to get people into an art gallery during COVID and how have art galleries changed? Because we all know there's been a lot of changes since COVID. A lot of the big galleries, a lot of museums were using technology, artificial reality. Artificial reality is not a thing. Augmented reality, virtual reality, and today you're even looking at people putting galleries in the metaverse. I'm not sure why I said artificial reality, but I'm actually liking it. Maybe someone should come up with artificial reality. Is that a thing? Could it be a thing? Anyway, little housekeeping. On episode 2, I told you that we were on Google Music. Well, that was a lie. We're not on Google Music. We are on Google Podcasts because Google Music does not exist. So forget that. Go looking again if you're a Google person, which I hope you are. Go find us on Google Music, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on iTunes, on Anchor by Spotify, go Spotify, and have a listen and a share. We'd love that. All right, so stay tuned for Hanna Manninen. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tiny Little Victories. Have you noticed how I say that different every time? I do. Sometimes it's just Tiny Little Victories, and sometimes it's Tiny Little Victories. Maybe that's because the mood I'm in. Well, the mood I'm in right now is amazing, happy, because right now today on episode 3, we're going to be talking to Hanna Manninen. I hope, Hanna, I pronounced your last name correctly. The Finnish is very tricky.
Yeah, too many consonants, but you're very close.
Okay, good. Thank you. And Hanna is the owner and curator of an art gallery in Oulu, Finland. And I have known Hanna for many, many, many years as she lived around the world and worked in her first part of her career, which we're going to talk about. But anyway, I want to welcome her right now at 7 p.m. Usually she has a glass of Prosecco in her hand. I'm not sure she does now. But Hanna, welcome to Tiny Little Victories.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad that you invited me too. I don't know.
You don't have to worry about it. We're casual here.
Yeah, very casual. No Prosecco, so I can't blame that.
Okay. Maybe the Prosecco would make things a little...
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry, I need to stop talking over people. Yeah, I'm really glad that you're able to come. I know it's late. It's 7 p.m. there. Now, it must be pitch black dark. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, it's 8 p.m. over here because we are in the Eastern European time, not Central European time.
Yeah, that's right.
We luckily had about 3.5 hours of daylight today, and this is how our winters are over here.
So we're gonna slide all over the place, but 3.5 hours of daylight, and how in the world does that affect your mood and work? I mean, is that why we're always drinking over there?
That could be one of the reasons. It feels like when November rolls in, I feel like I'm always running late because the sun sets so early, and I feel like the day is ending because when the sun sets in November, about 3 or 4 p.m. But now we're in December, so sunset was about 2:30 today. So it's kind of like you take it slower. You might enjoy your occasional drinks here and there, but yeah, without the sunny summers, I don't think I'd survive back here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was visited you, and people were jumping into gigantic baths of ice to present their startup pitches, but it would get dark so early, and it does make you sort of change your attitude about things. Like, you were like, well, let's just go. Let's put on our boots. Like, we would just walk and still eat. We would sit outside. And I think that sort of mentality is kind of healthy because it's better, I think, to just keep living your life. Like, what would you do if you could only have 3.5 hours of daylight? You would be in bed all day watching movies, sleeping, and you can't do that. We're going to take a break right now, and we're going to come back to you after Hanna has explained the darkness to us, and we're going to pick up from there in just a minute. Stay tuned. I know we were talking about darkness and how you start your mornings and then you kind of power up and down throughout the day. And let's go straight to the gallery, because you and I've known each other for a long time because you've been in communications and PR. And what did you just like wake up one day and we're like, I'm sick of this. I've had it, which I totally understand. And to start the gallery, how did you make this decision to create this gallery in Oulu?
That's a fun story, I guess. No, I didn't wake up. Well, I probably woke up. Yes, I admit. I woke up one day and I was on my way to work. At the time, I was working in an advertising agency, which was first time for me. I've done the PR, the communications, marketing side of things. So why not advertising as well? So I was walking up the road to the place, actually, where the gallery now exists. It's my old place of work. So
wait, the place, your gallery, let's just call, by the way, gallery, MABD, and what does that stand for?
Galleria, MABD. It stands for Manninen Art, Branding and Design.
I love it.
Obviously being the gallery part of things, but branding is the PR and communications and marketing side of things that I also do. And design is the part of the visual marketing that my sister Oldie does. So
I love this. This is sister business then, right?
Yeah.
So I love it. Sister power. That's amazing. So you've combined the gallery with the branding through your sister and through the marketing and communications. This is the perfect blend of your life.
There is, but like I was mentioning earlier, the idea of an art gallery, it wasn't part of the initial plan when I wanted to start or go back to being an entrepreneur. So in the morning when I was running late as usual for my first morning meetings. I'm not a morning person.
No, you are not. You are not a morning person, and you do not run on time. I will tell you that.
Yeah. So I was walking to work and I was thinking, okay, why am I keep doing this? Why am I building businesses for other people? Why am I not building my own business? So in the same evening, my sister actually rang and she was been thinking about the same thing. That, okay, should we start a company together? Should we go into business together? And that's where it started from. And we started planning a company that was supposed to focus just on the marketing, PR, and communications, media, relations, design side of things. And then out of the blue, a gallerist in Oulu approached me. She knew me from all the regular visits I've been doing to her galleries. And she suggested or came to ask and say, okay, how about if you buy part of my business? How do you feel about that? And I was like, I haven't thought about it, but why not? Because the gallery space that she has, I just loved it.
That was your first gallery space, right, Hanna? That was the one with all the windows and all the light that sort of just streamed in on all sides. Is that the one?
No, yeah, that's the first where we were for the first 2.5, 3 years. It was in the oldest stone built building in Oulu called Tuomi. And that building was built in 1906, which is a long time.
Yeah, long time.
Yes, yeah. And considering afterwards, I think I just fell in love with the place and the space. And that's how the gallery part of the company came along. And I've never done galleries. I don't have cultural background. I haven't studied arts or anything. My career has been in tech PR, 22 plus years in tech PR. So what do I know about art? But art and visual arts especially have always been a very important part of my life. And I've had the pleasure of enjoying it. And I know that if I haven't been to an exhibition on a regular times, I start missing. My brain doesn't function if I don't see art on a regular basis. So then there was the second test. After that, then I said yes to the previous galleries of that space. I said yes. I had to convince my sister, and
but she wasn't.
how
She
about we
wasn't.
started running a art gallery in addition to everything else. So we actually built the business, run the gallery. So the gallery was the main focus, and then we've been doing other stuff. But 3-4 years later, it was when I went back to the original business strategy, reading about it, how things have changed over the years. But I'm now happy.
Yeah,
been really happy that I made this move.
So
I still do PR.
Yeah.
But,
okay, you're still doing PR, but let's unpack this for a little bit. Let's take it apart, because I think you said something that was really interesting to me a little bit back earlier, when you said you have no cultural background and no background in art. So what business did you have starting a gallery? At the same time, visual arts have been a very big part of your life. So, I mean, how much convincing of yourself did you have to do that this was something that you wanted to do? And then how much convincing of your sister or other people around you did you have to do?
Well, it's kind of like, it was a good and a bad thing that I haven't studied arts. Well, I've studied some arts, primary school and all these kind of things when I was younger, and I loved drawing, and I thought that after graduation from high school that I wanted to be an artist, but it was the beginning of the 90s, and that was the time when people were expected to have a proper job, and then they could go and have a nice hobby like art.
Yeah. Is that something is that a Finnish thing, or was that just like your society was saying, hey, better to get a job, do this on the side?
That was quite, I think it was in Finland that the society was expecting you to have a proper job.
And it's funny that they would think being an art gallerist wouldn't be a proper job.
Well, you can earn enough, I guess.
Yeah.
You can earn a living. And as an artist over here in Finland, it's still a struggle to earn a living just doing your art. So I guess that's still the thinking behind it. That was...
Yeah.
Wasn't it 20 years ago? It's now 30 years ago.
Yeah, well, I know. We go back too far in time. You get concerned.
Yeah, so I've used my creativity in a different way, because I also enjoy writing. So I've been, instead of say painting or drawing, I've been writing, and I've been using more words in creating a business and a profession out of what I can do in a couple of different languages, Finnish and English, and helping these engineers to go and conquer the world.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's something really beautiful about a creative person, and you are a creative person, in that you're creatively putting words together, like you said, and one side of you is, supporting these engineers to go out in the world and do their thing, but also to be able to cater to yourself. And I think it's really interesting that this person came to you out of the blue and just said, hey, do you want to invest in my gallery? And I guess my question to you is, how much of a hard decision was that for you? Or it was more like, hey, I'll just try it. I'm an entrepreneur. Why not?
I think for me, it was an easy decision, because for a long, long time, I've been wanting to change my life in respect of what I do for living. How do I earn my living? So it was easy for me. It was harder to convince my sister, and it hasn't been easy journey to also convince the industry or the market that who is this person? Where did she come from? But it did certainly help that I bought part of the existing gallery, so I didn't have to start from scratch.
Yeah. I mean, in many ways, so many galleries are struggling, right? There's the whole conversation around the struggling of galleries. And if you look at a lot of galleries, they're owned by artists or people that have been in the business. Whereas you, on the other hand, is somebody that's been in business, right? You've been in the market of branding and making things work. And perhaps maybe this older model of it being a very sort of closed world where it's a little bit, I mean, some galleries, it just feels so unwelcoming, right? They're like, oh, you don't have an art degree. Oh, you haven't bought like $40,000 worth of painting. So please don't come look at our art, which is not how a gallery should be. So I think it may be a more of a symbiotic relationship that you have the business, the creative, the marketing background to be able to say, I'm going to reapply all of this to, this passion. I mean, I didn't know you'd always want to be an artist as a child. That's news to me. I love that.
Yeah, and I think it's been an opportunity and a chance and strength for me to not to have any ties to the way that the culture, the arts, the
Yeah.
galleries, the museums, artists, they work.
Yeah.
So I think people are not expecting me to behave the same way that they would if I would be an artist.
That's so liberating, though, right? Also, that's amazingly liberating.
It's very liberating, and I've been. This market compared to my previous life, it is more conservative, very traditional. Things like over here, at least in Finland, I don't know how it is in the different countries, but most artists or galleries, they don't publish in their social media updates the price of the painting or the artwork. And I started doing that a couple of years ago. And
did you have a lot of pushback?
No, it sounded like a little thing, but actually it changed the market a little bit because now people know the price level. Yeah. So if you see a nice update of a painting and it's, oh, that's really nice. Could I afford it?
Yeah.
Or you don't have to send an extra message or think about, do I dare to contact a gallery?
No, I love, yes,
artist?
Exactly.
It's already there.
Exactly.
It's already there. Yeah. So I'm with little things like this, and also utilizing my understanding of the marketing, branding, media relations, sales, B2B sales. It's very consultative sales.
Yeah.
It's not like you're pushing it. Okay, buy. Same thing with arts. You need to let the art sell itself, basically. But I'm just giving him more opportunities. I'm very active on social media. We do daily updates on Instagram, Facebook. I've done sales through LinkedIn. Who just thought? Yeah.
Well, I think that's a very smart approach, because you do see a lot of articles out there today about, art. Can galleries make it? Will galleries be able to, transform? Is the model broken, sort of thing? And something you said about it was a little thing, right? It was a little thing you did by posting the prices. And, this podcast is Tiny Little Victories. And I think it is the little things that make a difference. And I always like to see the price of art, because I feel like if you see something and you like it, you want to know, like you said, can I afford it? And I think part of that exclusionary feeling that a lot of people get from galleries is the fact that you feel like you can't ask. And why not? If you're moved by a piece of art, isn't that the point?
We're talking over each other, but sorry, that's because I'm on a mission to make art and art exhibitions available to anyone who live or visits Oulu. I want to lower the threshold. Well, anyways, our gallery is very accessible. There's no threshold anyways, and they are with the big, beautiful windows in the new art gallery space. They actually, when the electricity was more affordable, I would leave the lights on during the night so people could, if you're too afraid to come in, you can actually go and enjoy the exhibitions through the windows. And obviously in the summertime, you can do that 24 hours a day. It's kind of like, I'm not a fan of people like putting themselves on a pedestal and thinking, okay, this is art, this is culture, this is high culture, as we call it in Finnish. Like, no, it should be culture and art is for everyone.
I agree.
And this is why with the little things, little victories like the price on the social media updates, I just want to make it so that more and more people would dare to come in and come and enjoy art, because art is good for your brain. It's a great inspiration. It's good for your imagination and everything like that.
No, I agree. I think I love that, because your goal is so powerful, right? I mean, to lower the
Mhm.
threshold, to let everybody come in, to like everybody feel included.
During the worst COVID times, I was thinking about virtualizing the gallery, but I wasn't in a.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't go down that route
Yeah.
then, because now I've got new ideas. But that's the natural next step I want to do with the gallery. I want to make the gallery more international and make it more international. It needs to be also virtual, but not the virtual. Probably, well, this is me, typical of me.
Yeah.
I want to make it different, because I haven't found yet a virtual gallery that makes me go like, oh wow,
I'm going in there.
I want, yeah, exactly. So I'm talking to people now who do metaverse or NFT and all these kind of things. So well, there are some. No, I was just going to big plans in the works.
Okay, so let's take a break for just a minute, and let's come back to that those two things you brought up, which was NFTs and the metaverse. And we will take a short break, and we'll come back and talk to Hanna about what she really feels about NFTs and the metaverse. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back. And something I've been dying to ask Hanna, which is something she brought up in the earlier segment, was NFTs and the metaverse. Now, I asked Hanna to try to watch anyway, a docu-film by a PR and branding woman and a self-proclaimed Web3 enthusiast who's made a film about the metaverse and why we need to feel good about it. And she's very much into NFTs and opening up the world through the metaverse. Now, I haven't finished watching the film. It's a lot, but I also kind of admire it, Hanna, because I feel like she's so passionate about showing what can be. And I really like that about her. Part of the film was about that, but it really got me sort of riled up about the metaverse and NFTs, because I'm sorry, what the F, these NFTs, is that art? I have a hard time calling that art, NFTs. People say, oh, I've made an NFT of this, that, and the other. And I'm like, why?
You're not the owner.
Okay.
I tried to watch the documentary, and I managed to watch the first 10 minutes of it, and I was just thinking that, okay, she had those goggles on, and it's like, it must be very tiring that you're just focusing on your eyesight, one of your senses.
One of your senses, exactly.
Yeah, like that, because like I want to enjoy art with all of my senses if possible.
And I know that the concept is that it like you said, I want to open up the gallery to everybody, right? To lower the threshold. And her feeling with allowing people to come into the metaverse, to view museums, to take tours. And like you said earlier, a lot of museums, especially in Paris, used virtual reality and augmented reality during the pandemic to let people have a feel. But I love that you said it's just one of your senses, because I'm pretty sure people would argue with us if we had another person on the call about that.
Like I said earlier, that I was thinking when COVID was at its worst over here, and the gallery had to be closed, and all that unfortunate and depressing stuff, is that I'm glad that I didn't go down the virtual gallery route, or metaverse didn't exist then, because after 2 years of not being physically be able to go and enjoy whatever you enjoyed in your life, you could tell that there was a fatigue. People was tired of anything virtual.
Yeah, I agree with you.
This is what I've been hearing all through the summer, even though over here you could just like have a proper, almost normal life, almost a year and a half now. And they say like, it's so nice to be able to go and enjoy.
Isn't it?
Go and visit places. And I think technology is good. And I enjoy the opportunities that it gives and provides us. But if it's the only solution, then it's gonna make I don't agree. I think it's gonna make our lives poorer.
I agree.
It's just like, okay, are we gonna be just sitting on our couches and have those big massive goggles on and trying to think that, okay, this is a wonderful 48-hour experience in metaverse.
Yeah.
No, we need human interaction.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to hear, feel,
touch,
see, taste.
Yeah.
This is what we need.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because I feel like COVID was really hard. Like isolation was big, and especially, for me and Gigi, it's just us. And I love that the world is opening up. And, I had a birthday party here at my house, and I have 13 people. It's the first time I had that many people over, and nobody used their phone, because the next day, all 13 people texted me and they said, hey, do you have any pictures? It was so beautiful. We love the oysters, the champagne. And I said, wait up, no. And nobody took one photograph. And I thought that was the sign of a fantastic, successful party. And the interesting thing was the people that were there were all new to each other. So it was a lot of cross-pollination. Nobody was on their phone. Nobody left early. In fact, they stayed 3 hours longer than they should have. And the only time a phone got used was one of my friends and his husband. They were going to another party at 1 a.m. and they used their phone to call Uber to leave to go to the party. And so I really think that your point about the senses is a very important thing. I do think that we want to touch, we want to create, we want to be together. But sadly, I think that we will adopt this technology, because look how gluttonous we've been with social media, right? With Facebook, we've just tumbled down this rabbit hole where a click and a like means a relationship with somebody or a connection with somebody. It does not.
I know. But you know what? Historical day today, I've deactivated my Twitter account, my very first social media life.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have no more Facebook or Instagram. I'm still struggling on Twitter, but with all the crazy stuff happening, I have tried a new platform, which is much calmer, like it used to be in the beginning. But I don't feel like I need it anymore. Like, it doesn't serve me.
No, I think okay, obviously for my work as a gallerist, Instagram is the best tool. But then again, like I said earlier, I have made sales through LinkedIn as well, so you never know. But I haven't been very active on Twitter. I don't think I'm gonna miss it.
No, it's a hot mess out there.
Development. I don't like the route that it's taking. So freedom of speech.
It's bad. It's bad over there. Like, it's a hot mess. It's like a train wreck, and you can't look away, and you're like, what's happening here? All right.
Back to NFT and metaverse. I think they might have some tools that I want to use when I start developing the virtual gallery, because I've met some interesting people through a networking event I've started over here in Oulu. I think we're gonna have an interesting conversation, because when I talk about virtual gallery and virtual experience of art, I want to make it more virtual, more approachable. Not like you're just clicking on an arrow that you want to go through an empty hallway to go and see a painting.
Okay, can we pause on that right there, because that is brilliant. More approachable does not mean standing in a hallway and clicking on a link. I think this is a very big point here that you're making, is if people say that the metaverse is allowing things to be more open and sharing and lower the threshold, your point is really valid. What is approachable? What is approachable today with technology? Is standing in a hallway and turning with your Oculus headset on and clicking a link and walking down a hallway and seeing a Van Gogh painting, is that approachable? Or is it exposure to something?
No, not to me, not at least. What I enjoyed when the Rijksmuseum, did you see that, what they did on Google Arts and Culture?
I have not.
COVID. They posted a big mess. I don't know how many gigabytes of the Night Watch painting.
Oh, the Night Watch, yes. The Night Watch painting, yes.
Yeah, so I think it was like, I don't know, a massive painting they posted online, so you could actually zoom it so that you feel like you could almost touch it.
Yes. The artist that did that, her name was Estella Tse, and I actually wrote about her and that painting on Forbes a couple of years ago, because they had brought that. It was at the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. They were doing it there. Yeah,
this is a kind of a thing, like, okay, if you're doing something virtual, you need to be able to provide an opportunity to do something different that you'll be able to do in a museum or a gallery. You can't touch the painting at the gallery.
Exactly.
But if you do it, but virtually, you probably could.
Yeah.
Or you should.
That's a really good distinction. I love that. You go into a gallery, you see you see a Rembrandt, you cannot touch it. But using technology like Estelle did, where she recreated the Night's Watch, where you could walk through that painting and feel it around you, that's approachable.
Yeah, so instead of just creating a virtual version of the reality that we live in, I think we should go beyond and think about different ways. Okay, if in reality we can't do this, could we do this in virtual?
Yeah, I love that.
So this is what my brain is thinking now, and this is why I've applied for a couple of the fundings here in Finland to see if they would give me some development money.
Some money, right?
How approach this idea?
Hanna, this is amazing. How do you think your other fellow gallerists feel about your sort of avant-garde, out of the box, let me do what I want approach to your gallery? Have you had any pushback or support, or what's that been like?
I don't know exactly what they honestly think, but I know at least one of the galleries, we do monthly gallery walks, so she enjoys all the marketing and all the activity that I've also helped to create for her gallery. She's the only other privately owned gallery here in Oulu. The other ones are publicly funded, so they can continue doing the way they've been always doing things without thinking about, okay, what's going to sell or what's not, which is good, because we need places like that. It's a space for just do experimental art or anything like that. But then there's also a new curator for the Northern Photo Centre that is my next door neighbour, and we've had a very good conversations, and I think she's she likes my way of doing things, and I think she's trying to apply to do similar things with their exhibitions and with their collaborations with businesses and stuff like that.
That's amazing. So you're bringing people along, you're dragging them along with you. I love that. That's really the Hanna way. That's the Hanna way, though, right? Like you're very, I think one of your best qualities is perseverance, right? Like I think you really feel strongly about bringing people along on a journey. I think you've always been like that in your marketing communications and your branding work. And I think that this gallery is the same. So we're out of time for today, but I am going to, in the end notes, give everybody a link to Gallery MABD at the end. I'm going to put some in the notes because at least you guys can all check it out online. And if you're ever visiting Finland and you go to Oulu, which by the way is absolutely beautiful, I love it up there, you can drop by and go to the gallery and meet Hanna, and I'm sure she will give you a glass of Prosecco.
Oh, at least white wine.
Or white wine, exactly. So Hanna, thank you so much. I know it's late there, and I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this. I didn't know that you had been doing all of these different things and where your thoughts were about sort of reducing the threshold around people visiting galleries, but it's just so amazing to hear. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been my pleasure.
Okay, everybody, stay tuned for a wrap up after this. Sometimes after you have really good conversations with people, it makes you think about how proud and happy you are to know those people. And I hope you all enjoyed our conversation with Hanna Manninen, who owns Gallery MABD in Oulu, Finland. And I really feel like one of the things she said that was really interesting to me is she said, I always wanted to be an artist when I was a child, but as I was growing up, the society there and culture was like, nope, get a proper job. And she gets a proper job. She's working in London. She's working in Helsinki. She is working with international companies. She is doing marketing and communications and PR, traveling to Barcelona for Mobile World Congress. And, something inside of her, maybe she couldn't identify it, but she knew that there was something she wanted to do. And I think one of the things that happens when you're living life is as you continue to live it, you get closer to yourself. You get closer to understanding the things that give you joy. And I think that it was so serendipitous that somebody just said, hey, do you want to buy into my gallery? And Hannah's attitude as an entrepreneur is like, yeah, sure, why not? I can make it work. And I think that is a tiny little victory, because by doing that, she has put herself in a place where she's going to be using all of this experience from all these decades to make this work. And, I think Hanna is a out of the box thinker. She thinks out of the box in sort of a culture that doesn't want you to think out of the box all the time. And I love it that her goal by 2026 is to put Oulu on the map as a capital of, a cultural city. And I've traveled to Oulu, and it's very lovely, and it's by the water, and the people are friendly, and it's just a very beautiful place. And sort of everywhere I turn, there's these little snippets of art and culture and history. And if anyone can make Oulu sort of the cultural capital over there, it's going to be Hanna. So I hope that all of you will take a minute and stop by her website. It's those W's, www.gallery, MABD.fi for Finland, but it will reroute you to an international version of her site. And if you definitely find your way up that way, definitely stop by the gallery. She's invites everybody in, and you can see her gallery. And if you're an artist, maybe give her a shout out and see if she might be interested in carrying your art, because that could be a very cool thing for making that gallery an international gallery. And on that note, I'm just going to remind you to share this podcast. We are on Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Anchor by Spotify. Go Spotify. So have a great rest of your day wherever you are in the world, and we will catch you next time on Tiny Little Victories.